Hello and welcome to the Divorce to Bliss podcast. Here you will learn all things related to healing from divorce, mind, body, and spirit, so you can create a beautiful new life filled with happiness. I'm Rachel Ruby, author of Divorce to Bliss, divorce coach, speaker, and attorney, and I'm so glad you found me here. Hello and welcome to the Divorce to Bliss podcast. I'm Rachel S. Ruby, and today we're going to be talking about something that I call stacking or being stacked. Now, no, this does not mean a woman who is well endowed. It is in relation to the things that we go through within our lives at any given time. Now, when you are in a victim mentality, which often can happen at the beginning of your journey from divorce to bliss, or coming out of your divorce, in other words, a lot of times we feel really down. And when other things start to bombard us from outside, for example, there might be a problem in the family. Maybe one of your children is having an issue. Maybe somebody's sick. Maybe your job is changing or they require you to learn some new skills. And all of these things just keep piling on, keep stacking up. And what happens many times when we are already stressed from the divorce and from all of the changes in our lives, and maybe we're just starting this journey of healing, and we want to get to a place where our life is brand new and wonderful and create an amazing new place for us to be. And when all of these things keep stacking up, it can make us feel really, really stuck and even more, negative, or experience more negative feelings. So we're going to talk about what to do when we're stacked. And I hope you like my term, by the way. But it really, to me, personifies the experience and the feeling of being overwhelmed by not only this divorce and your preparation to go into this journey because of all the feelings that you are experiencing, but by the other factors that might be hitting you at the same time. And this can happen anytime in life, of course. But we're going to talk about what to do when we are in this situation and we feel like everything is stacked. The odds are stacked against us, right? In order to be able to improve and come out on the other end happy and see the light at the end of the tunnel and all of that. So let's go through some steps that will help you when you feel stacked so you can get a handle on things and be able to heal. Step number 1 is to identify the issues. Now, all of the issues that are making you feel stressed right now, making you feel negative feelings, I want you to identify those issues. And by that, I mean you're going to make a list and you're going to write down every single issue that is within your, hitting you right now at the same time and creating the stress. So what I want you to do is make a list of those issues. Okay. That's the first thing. And that is identification. That is the first step. The second step is we're going to put those issues in order. And of course, a lot of times when we have multiple issues, like let's say you just went through a divorce and you're so stressed out because you have to move out of the family home and you don't know where you're going to live, or you may need to go back into the job market and you haven't done that in years because you are a stay-at-home parent. And then on top of that, you might have a sick child, or your children might be having a hard time healing from the divorce. And you might have a parent who needs your help. I mean, there's so many different things, right? And so I'm not asking you to rate them, but I'm asking you to put them into in order of the things that you feel are most important to tackle if you have to go in order. Because what happens when we are healing and when we have factors that are stressing us out, we tend to not think rationally and in order and put them in perspective so that we can take baby steps and focus on something first and then move on to the next thing after we have a little bit more clarity on that first thing. I'm not saying you're going to finish the first thing, right? You're not going to completely heal from divorce first before you tackle the other issues or problems. But we're going to take baby steps with issue number 1 so that we can move on to other issues and kind of do it in a way that makes us not feel so pressed and stressed, right? So I want you don't have to put them all in order, but I want you to pick out of those issues one issue that will make you feel so much better if you tackle that first. This part of the process is called analyzing, because you're really looking at these issues and you're analyzing, hey, which one of these do I feel like I need to get a hold on? I need to get a grip on first so I can move forward and tackle the other things, right? And again, keep in mind that this can change. You might start working on something and realize, wow, I really need to work on that other problem or issue first because it's more pressing right now. And that's okay. You're not going to be, forced to commit to working on the one you choose first. But I want you, just for the sake of moving forward and creating a plan to take baby steps to make you feel better, I want you to pick one. So for sake of this podcast, we're going to say that you picked the healing from divorce aspect, right? And you want to learn to kind of gather up all those feelings that you have in this ball and learn how to feel better and what things you can do to make you feel better and let you move forward to make you empowered with this healing process, because the healing process can be very overwhelming. That's why I do these podcasts and my blog. That's why I wrote my book. I really want to help you to heal from divorce. So let's pick divorce healing as your number 1 in your list of issues that is very challenging right now. Okay. And then the next thing we're going to do is I want you to write down the feelings and the emotions that are associated with that issue. So again, our example is divorce healing. I want you to write down all your feelings and emotions. And they can even be conflicting emotions. Like you might be really, really scared to be in the place you're in after your divorce, but you might also be really excited to move forward and create this new life. And so I've been there. I've experienced all of those things. And so I know that you can do this. That's the first part. Okay. So write down the emotions that go with that. It's important in this process of writing down your emotions that you don't write down the emotions and the feelings for the other issues and problems that are on your list, because not only might those morph and evolve as you are going forward and taking the baby steps to work on this first issue, because again, when we feel better about one thing, it might affect the way we feel about another. And like I said, keep in mind that you can always table the number 1 thing if something else feels more pressing to you and you have to go then and deal with that first. And at that point, I want you to do the same thing. And I want you to write down the emotions and the feelings that are associated with that issue. Step number 4, I want you to reach out to your support network. And this can be anyone, a friend, family member, coworker, anyone who truly supports you. And by that, I mean somebody who is going to let you make all the choices and in your journey and not tell you what they think you should or shouldn't do. And this is so important. Sometimes we have people who love us that want to guide us because they think they know what's best for us, but nobody knows what's best for you except for you. And that's a huge lesson that I learned in my healing journey. So I want you to reach out to somebody who is in your support network. And that can even be a therapist. It can be a coach. If you have a divorce recovery coach, like what I do, that's great, because that is really a neutral party who is not going to tell you what to do, but is going to help you figure out what to do. And you are going to be the one making the choices, right? So if you need more help on that, by the way, please visit my website at rachelsruby.com and select the coaching tab so you can learn more. But back to this. So now I want you to make a date with that person, whether it's a phone call, a Zoom call, live meeting in person. And I want you to talk about your feelings and just get them out. Because a lot of times, as you know, when we unload things off of our shoulders and when we unstack, we feel a lot better. And sometimes it gives us clarity. So I want you to make a time, and it can be once a week where you talk on the phone with somebody, or every other week where you meet with them. You ask the person who is in your support network, hey, let's meet for a drink, or come to my house and I'll make you dinner, or whatever it is. But I really want you to create a schedule for the next, couple of weeks where you are meeting with this person somehow. And you are talking about the things that are important to you within the framework of this issue. Okay. And then the fifth step is, I want you during this time to move your body every single day. I know you probably have to go to work. Maybe you take care of children. Maybe you're responsible for a parent. And sometimes you're so down that you don't feel like getting up off that couch at all. You have to put it in your schedule and set an alarm if you need to remind you that you have to move. And I don't care what you do. Go walk, go run, go exercise, turn on some music in your house and dance. Just move your body. And I have to tell you a little story about this. Last week, I was kind of feeling stacked. Not from divorce healing, because I've already been through that, but I was having some other personal stuff going on within my life, my family life, and I felt really stacked. And so at the end of my workday one day, I was thinking to myself, I should just go lay down because I am just exhausted, like mentally, physically. And instead, I forced myself to put on my shoes and I went and I took a class at the gym. And I felt like, how am I going to do this? I don't have any energy mentally or physically. But once I started moving, oh my gosh, it was like the floodgates opened and I got out so much pent up negative energy in my body that I was just having fun and I forgot about everything for that 50-minute class. And when I was finished and I was walking home, I realized that I felt really, really good. And I was starving, which was great because I hadn't really been wanting to eat and things were just so challenging for me. So that is huge. Whether or not you believe me, 100% you need to move. Okay. And number 6 is relaxation. And you need to take time for this also every single day, even if it's for 10 minutes. I want you to sit down. I want you to turn off electronics. I want you to try to find a place where you're not going to be disturbed. And I want you to just breathe. Just you can close your eyes. You can imagine that breath in sync with the waves of the ocean coming in or out, or the wind blowing something, a tree, or you can just whatever, you can turn on some beautiful music with no words. That is just piano or classical guitar or some kind of, spiritual music or something just beautiful. You can light a candle. You can take a bubble bath. That's such a great one. But I want you to find a time every day, even 10 minutes. And if you tell me you can't find the time, I want you to reach out to me because I will help you to find the time. That is not the case. And that is just your ego telling you that you can't do it. But you know what? You can. You can make anyone. I don't care how busy you are. I'm one of the most busy people I know. I make time every single day, multiple times a day, to take a quiet break, to take time for me, to take a meditation break, to take a stretching, a yoga break, to take whatever it is. And a lot of times I do this when I first wake up in the morning and I wake up 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes early so I can meditate, so I can breathe, so I can be grateful, so I can write in my journal. And I want you to do this. I want you to make this a part of every single day, people, because this is me time. This is the time that is the most important time because it kind of, and I love doing this in the morning because it really sets the mood for the day. Like, I am here, I am me, I am taking care of myself, I love myself, and I'm giving myself this quiet time to just be. Okay, so please make that a priority. And number 7 is, of course, taking care of the body, not just the exercise, but the eating healthy and all those things that require you to just be present. Realize that your body is a temple. No alcohol, no drugs. Try to limit the caffeine. Really, if you can cut it out, that's great. If you can't, have your morning caffeine, but try to stop there and really try to put healthy foods into your body because especially when we are stressed. If we eat things like sugar, which is an addictive and terrible substance, don't put sugar in your body, please. I mean, natural sugars from fruits, that's fine, but try to stop eating processed sugar. It's so important, especially when you are stressed, because your body tends to want more and more. I mean, did you ever think of when you're sad or upset, why you might want, crave ice cream or chocolate or candy or whatever it is? Try to eliminate that from your diet and put really healthy food into your temple, because that is how we create this beautiful gut zone that is healthy, that can process what is in our bodies. And in turn, when that gut and our whole bodies are healthier, it allows us to feel healthier, and it allows us to move forward quicker, heal quicker. So I want you to do that. And then the last one is I want you to be mindful. And I want you to remind yourself to be mindful. What does this mean? This means being present, focusing on right now, right here, not worrying about what happened in the past, what happened in your marriage, what's in that rearview mirror. Yes, sometimes we need to look back at those things in order to grow. But when we're healing, we really want to focus on now, being mindful, being present. I mean, when you wake up in the morning, do you hear the birds chirping? Close your eyes and focus on that for a minute. How beautiful is that the birds are chirping? How amazing is it when you open your window and look out at that new day? Is the sun rising, or it's cloudy, or whatever, the trees are blowing? You see the trees, whatever natural nature things that you see within your field of vision or you experience. You might hear the wind. You might hear, like I said, the chirping of the birds. Maybe you live by the ocean and you hear the ocean. And these are all things that force us to be present. And by being present, that is how we can heal quicker. So when we stay in the things that are past, or the things, or even focusing on the future and how it's going to be different, and we compare it, that keeps us stuck. And that keeps these things stacked on top of our shoulders. And we want to get those things off, right? So we can move forward and heal. So those are my tips on how to become unstacked. And there are a couple of things here that I want to remind you that are real important. I want to talk about those other issues on the list. Now, we're not putting those other issues on the back burner and not dealing with them. There are things we do need to deal with. Like if you have a sick parent, or an issue at work that needs to be dealt with, you need to deal with those things. And so we're going to make sure that we take these small steps that I discussed every single day towards the issue number one. And after a couple of days, you might start to feel a little bit of a lightening of the load, right? And then you can start dealing with the next most pressing issue. And it's hard for me to say, when you need to do this, because you really have to be in tune with yourself and your feelings. And that's why a lot of people need help with this, and they need to seek the advice of a divorce recovery specialist, a healing coach like myself. But if you don't have that, maybe you can enlist the help of one of the people in your support network to kind of hold you accountable. And you can write in your journal about how you feel dealing with this first issue is going. And when you start to see some improvements and you start to just relax a little bit, I mean, again, you're not going to heal in a day. You might not heal in a month or even months. It might take a long time, but these little baby steps, these little things that you're adding to your life every day to help you improve and get better are going to make you feel just a little bit better. Probably within a short period of time. Again, I don't want to put a limit on it, because every body is different and every person is different. But once you start noticing, and I want you to write in your journal every night how you're feeling with these new things that you're doing. Once you start noticing like, hey, I feel a little lighter, then move on and start doing the same process with the next issue and see how you feel. And if you get stuck, you can step back. You can talk to your person that is helping you and holding you accountable. You can write things down. You can take some deep breaths. You can just maybe increase your me time a little bit more, and maybe increase your gratitude time a little bit more, and then see how you feel. So it's all really Unfortunately, not something we can put a time limit on. And I know a lot of people want to know, like, how long is this going to take me? And I get asked that question all the time. How long will it take me to heal? I mean, in all honesty, it took me probably a little over a year to get to the point where I was, wow. I mean, I started feeling better within months of my healing process and healing journey. But really, when I got to the point where I went through this complete spiritual awakening, it was about a year into it. And of course, I still continue to heal. We never stop healing. So it's not like you're going to turn off the switch and be healed, but there will be a point where you get there, where you feel so much better, where you feel really great about yourself. You're loving yourself. And you even want to share that maybe with someone else. So, meaning a partner. And again, if you are a viewer or listener of my podcast, you know that I always advise not to date until you have done some substantial healing work. So we can talk about that some more. You can view some of my dating podcasts and learn more about that. And some other caveats are that we tend as human beings to overthink, right? Especially when we are stacked with so many issues that are weighing us down. And so I want you to realize that you cannot solve all of the problems. Sometimes you cannot solve all of the problems quickly. And sometimes you cannot solve some problems at all, right? Sometimes you just need to do your best to do what you can do to lighten the load on yourself. And sometimes you may even need to pivot and make some big changes in your life because a problem can't be solved. And that's a whole different topic. But I want you to realize that when you overthink, it's just going to make you frazzled and you're not going to get anywhere. So stop overthinking. That's why we identify the problems. That's why we analyze them and select the one we want to deal with first. That's why we write them down. That's why we don't analyze all the other problems while we're dealing with the one problem, right? This is all part of not overthinking and just focusing on being present, dealing with that first issue. And the other thing I wanted to tell you is that all of this healing work, all of this identifying and analyzing the problems and coming up with solutions for the problems, this is all part of being responsible. And so many of us are afraid to be responsible when we are faced with things that are really affecting us in a negative way. So we want to take that responsibility, and because that is going to empower us, right? Take the responsibility. And we also want to be patient in this process. I know that sometimes being patient is so hard in life in general, but this is the time to really learn how to do that for yourself so that you can heal and you can create a beautiful new life. Now, this was just a little snippet of how to deal with things that are stacked up on our shoulders, so to speak, when there are multiple things that we need to take care of and we feel really lost and confused and negative about those things. So I want you to try this, and I want you to try it for a little bit. And then I really want to hear from you on how it's working, because sometimes we need to pivot and sometimes we need help in doing that. So if you do need some help, again, please feel free to reach out to me. I have some fabulous coaching programs. I would love to help you. And I know that you can heal. And I know that you can get through some of the other things that are plaguing you and bringing you down and making it feel like you are in this well. And you can climb out of that. Just know that you are strong and you've got here. You've come to this point and you can do it. I know you can do it. I did it. I help so many people do it. It's possible to believe in yourself. It's possible to love yourself. That's why we're working on healing. And that's why we're trying to separate all the other issues and focus on something slowly and one thing at a time and taking baby steps. So good luck to you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.